Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Friday. It is Friday, February 5th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. Look, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy day. I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered today. We did 2 hours there on Roland's show. We're going to share an excerpt of that show here. So we have a lot of talk dealing with the American Recovery Plan pushed by the Biden administration. And we see that there was a meeting that Vice President Kamala Harris had today with African American Chamber of Commerce's. Okay, she met with African American businesses, her and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and they discussed how the American Rescue Plan will help African American owned businesses. All right. Then also, President Joe Biden gave a speech today where he outlined his American Rescue Plan, the coronavirus rescue plan, and how it would help Americans. And then there was a story from the Griot that I saw. We posted about this on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. This deals with teaching. This deals with an African American History Month lesson, a Black History Month lesson, gone wrong. An African American History Month lesson gone wrong. All right. At a school in Wisconsin, some of you may have heard about this. Wisconsin teachers have been put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. Wisconsin teachers have been put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. Okay. So we'll deal with those topics today on the African History Network show. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, or a woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up. We're going to have to do a special segment dealing with love and sex and relationships. We may have to do that offline, but we may start on 9:10 a.m. Superstation, and then we're going to move that over to our social media platforms after midnight. All right. So that's enough of that. All right. Cut that out. All right. So sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com to sign up for our email newsletter there as well. Okay, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network. $, the AHN Show through Cash App, $, the AHN Show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. All right, that helps us to stay on the air and broadcast 6 days a week, keep doing the research, pay some of the bills, etc. Also, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, click on the yellow donate button. Okay, let's jump into this first topic here. So I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered today, and we talked about Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan. He did a press conference today to discuss that. And then we also talked about the meeting that Vice President Kamala Harris had, the roundtable with Black businesses. I want to go to this clip number one from, we'll go to clip number one from MSNBC, Shakita. Joe Biden outlines his $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan for economic relief. Let's go to this clip. Take it off of mute. So also check out the article from NBC News as well that deals with that deals with the $1.9 trillion plan. Washington moves in unison toward passing sweeping coronavirus relief package. Okay, after entertaining working with Republicans, Democrats now appear set on acting to pass a $1.9 trillion proposal. We have the clip queued up.
A lot of folks are losing hope. And I believe the American people are looking right now to their government for help, to do our job, to not let them down. So I'm going to act. I'm going to act fast. I'd like to be doing it with the support of Republicans. I've met with Republicans. There's some really fine people who want to get something done, but they're just not willing to go as far as I think we have to go. I've told both Republicans and Democrats that's my preference to work together. But if I have to choose between getting help right now to Americans who are hurting so badly and getting bogged down in a lengthy negotiation, or compromising on a bill that's up to the crisis, that's an easy choice. I'm going to help the American people who are hurting now. That's why I'm so grateful to the House and the Senate for moving so fast on the American Rescue Plan. Here's what's in that plan. First, it puts $160 billion into our national COVID-19 strategy, which includes more money for manufacturing, distribution, and setting up of vaccine sites. Everything is needed to get the vaccines into people's arms. There's simply nothing more important than us getting the resources we need to vaccinate the people in this country as quickly as possible. So job number one of the American Rescue Plan is vaccines. Vaccines. The second, the American Rescue Plan is going to keep the commitment of $2,000. $600 has already gone out. $1,400 checks to people who need it. This is money directly in people's pockets. They need it. We need to target that money. So folks making $300,000 don't get any windfall. But if you're a family that's a two-wage earner, each of the parents, one making 30 grand, one making 40 or 50, maybe that's a little more than, well, yeah, they need the money and they're going to get it. And here's what I won't do. I'm not cutting the size of the checks. They're going to be $1,400, period. That's what the American people were promised. Very quickly, here's the rest of my plan. It has money for food and nutrition so that folks don't go hungry. I think our Republican friends are going to support that. It extends unemployment insurance, which is going to run out on March 13th of this year to the end of September of this year, because we're still going to have high unemployment. It helps small businesses, thousands of whom have had to go out of business. It has money to help folks pay their health insurance. It has rental assistance to keep people in their homes rather than being thrown out on the street. It's got money to help us open our schools safely. There's money for child care, for paid leave. It gets needed resources of state and local governments to prevent layoffs of essential personnel, firefighters, nurses, the folks that are school teachers, sanitation workers. It raises the minimum wage. It's big and it's bold, and it's a real answer to the crisis we're in.
Well, we were watching the White House COVID.
All right, pause it right there, Shakita. I know we're coming up on a break. We'll continue this on the other side of the break, and we'll talk about the roundtable that Vice President Kamala Harris had with African-American-owned businesses today as well. We talked about that on Roland Martin Unfiltered. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. Kemeticwear.com is the go-to online source for Kemetic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique styles reflecting our African heritage. Kemeticwear.com is inspired by KemeticScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at Kemeticwear.com.
For 25 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events, making it the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid Al Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. Visit 4glossygirls.com. That's the number 4glossygirls.com, and follow them on Instagram at 4glossygirls.
Black Bees products are a collection of natural, organic, personal care products with an appreciation of nature and bees. Our philosophy is without bees, we have nothing. We are honoring our Nile Valley ancestors who understood the importance of bees. Black Bees created a high-quality, natural, organic personal care line that would be affordable to everyone. We hope you try and enjoy our Black Bees products line and come back and visit us at blackbeesproducts.com.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation of Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Friday, February 5th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a quick question or comment. Right before the break, I was sharing an excerpt of the press conference that Joe Biden held today. Actually, his speech, I should say. I don't think he took questions. And this ties in, and this deals with the American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. And this ties into also the meeting that Vice President Kamala Harris had today with African-American businesses to deal with how the American Rescue Plan will help African-American businesses. And this shows a connection between policies, who's in office, and conditions. Politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement, and understanding the connection between condition, economic conditions, the how policies or laws shape the economy, impact the economy, and impact African-American owned businesses. Okay. You got to have somebody in office to protect the economy that African-American owned businesses rely upon to survive. We saw the unemployment numbers, the job creation numbers that came out today. We saw that 49,000 jobs, U.S. economy added just 49,000 jobs in the month of January. All right. And this shows how the recovery is anemic. If we look at NBC News, the unemployment numbers, the job creation numbers, the job numbers come out the first Friday of each month. The unemployment report comes out every Thursday about 8:30 a.m. Okay, and that's for the previous week. How many people filed for first-time unemployment the previous week? That comes out every Thursday morning. And the first Friday of each month, the job numbers come out, the job creation numbers. We see the U.S. economy added just 49,000 jobs in January, signaling ongoing fragility of the labor market. Okay, you can read the full labor report at BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.gov. We're still in the dark days of the winter with respect to the pandemic and the economy, one economist said. All of this is connected. Okay, the economy added a meager 49,000 jobs in January, and the unemployment rate fell to just 6.3% as the size of the labor force shrank, okay, signaling the ongoing fragility of the recovery. Economists had expected 50,000 jobs to be added and the jobless rate to remain unchanged. January's report, the first monthly release under President Joe Biden, is an improvement from the December 2020 report, which saw a reversal of 227,000 jobs. I mean, 227,000 jobs were lost in the December 2020 report. However, it does not even capture the millions of people economists estimate have dropped out of the labor force. The millions of people economists estimate have dropped out of the labor force and are no longer working, no longer looking for work. Okay, they're not even counted in that 6.3% unemployment number. That's the U3 number, by the way. Not to make this too complicated, there's 6 different unemployment numbers, U1 through U3. U3 looks at people who have looked for a job in the past 4 weeks. That's the U3 number. Okay. If you go to BLS.gov and search for how is the unemployment rate calculated, they break this down and they break down U1 through U6. You have to understand what the actual number represents. Okay. All right. And then they break down the unemployment rate through race as well. They break it down by race. So nearly 18 million Americans continue to receive unemployment benefits of some kind. Nearly 18 million Americans continue to receive unemployment benefits of some kind. This is directly showing how politics impacts the economy, which then impacts people's businesses. Millions of businesses have been closed. 41% of African-American owned businesses went out of business as of April of 2020. Okay. If you look at the article from Forbes.com, I talked about it. You've heard me talk about this before, and we talked about it on Roland's show today. And this is something that I'm pretty familiar with because my degree is in business administration. Okay. So this is stuff we study. I'm pretty familiar with this and understanding how politics impacts economics. Read this article from Forbes.com. The COVID-19 crisis has wiped out nearly half of Black small businesses. Now, this article is from August 10th, 2020. August 10th, 2020. All right. And it talks about how nearly half of Black small businesses have been wiped out by the end of April 2020 as the pandemic ravaged minority communities disproportionately, according to a report from the New York Federal Reserve. Black-owned businesses were more than twice as likely to shutter as their white counterparts, the report found. Nationally, representative data on small businesses indicate that the number of active business owners fell by 22% from February to April 2020, the largest drop on record. Black businesses experienced the most acute or the worst, the biggest decline with a 41% drop. Latino business owners fell by 32% and Asian business owners dropped by 26%. Okay, Asians were closing up their businesses. So when I hear people say we're not going to vote, we're just going to do economic empowerment, do like the Asians, you mean you're going to close your business down? Because that's what many Asian businesses were doing, shutting down. It was 41% in April 2020. It's at least 50% by now of Black-owned businesses that have gone out of business. So read this full article here from Forbes.com. This is showing you how politics, laws, and policies impact the economy, which then impacts African-American owned businesses and economics at the Main Street level, the individual level. All right. Now, this is something that Vice President Kamala Harris talked about when she spoke to Black-owned businesses today. Okay, so let's go to clip 2. This is from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Today I was a panelist. I'm a panelist usually every Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered. The past couple of Fridays, they had to change the they didn't have any panelists because you had Hank Aaron, who passed away, and then you had Cicely Tyson, who passed away. So they had special shows. First, we talk about Joe Biden's speech, and then we talk about Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's go to this clip, Shakita.
The thing here, Michael, is the Republican governor of West Virginia was begging for the money. Well, he used to be a Democrat, then he flipped to Republican when Trump was there. Don't be shocked if he flips back to Democrat while Biden is there. And so he made the point they need the money. Because Republicans did not like this particular bill because they felt that it was too much money for local and state governments, for them bailing them out when they really only want to target those blue cities, those blue states. Again, if Democrats are smart, every move you make is all about how you are helping those who make less than $200,000 or $300,000 a year. If you are a family out there and you're making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 grand, trust me, you don't give a damn about somebody making five times as much money as you, who all of a sudden it says, well, what about us? Trust me, if you're making combined 300 grand a year, you're doing fine compared to most Americans.
Yeah, for the most part, that's true, Roland. And now it's interesting you mentioned some of the governors, because you're going to have a lot. I think you're going to have a lot of Republican governors. They have a lot of poor white people in their states who need this money. And the other thing is, blue-leaning states or Democratic states contribute more each year to the federal taxpayer pot than red states, than Republican states. And this is something that Governor Cuomo of New York pointed out a few months ago to Moscow Mitch McConnell, who's in a very poor state, Kentucky, Mitch McConnell. So I think what they're doing is a really good strategy to push this. I think you may have, like in the House, you may have a handful, maybe some of those 11 Republicans that voted to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments. You may have a handful of that, but we can't wait. And it's extremely important for them to connect these policies to the economy and to the economic conditions of individuals. The reason why is because 2022 midterm elections are right around the corner. And as TheGuardian.com pointed out, and I've dealt with on my show and you've dealt with on your show, Republicans in state legislatures across the country have introduced 106 bills to make it harder to vote. especially for African Americans, the Latinos, etc. So we have to make a clear connection between these policies in Washington, D.C. and the economic conditions down on Main Street.
And again, hopefully you will have an administration that actually says, let's put the money where there is most in need. Yes. Today, Vice President Harris, as well as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, sat down with Black business leaders to talk about this very issue. Here's some of that 1 hour discussion.
February, it is Black History Month, but I think as we all are concerned, Black History Month is every month. And so this conversation is not only for today, it is part of an ongoing conversation we intend to have with you as the leaders that you are. And when we look at our Black businesses in our country, they range. We are talking about software companies. We're talking about healthcare companies. Yes, we're also talking about the beauty shop and the barber shop, but we are also talking about healthcare. We are also talking about childcare. We're also talking about manufacturing, because Black businesses, of course, are engaged in the business of keeping America running. And so in every sector, these businesses are present. And that is how we think of then the role that you play, but also our responsibility to support you in all of those sectors. And during this pandemic, as the Secretary has said, this has been rough. We have all seen estimates that as many as 40 to 50% of Black businesses have closed permanently. Nationally, we know small businesses, of which the majority of Black businesses are, employ 50% of America's workforce, either because that worker is a small business owner or works for a small business. So when we're talking about the impact on the overall economy and country, it's profound. And our research also has shown that in the pandemic, and this is something that is a lived experience for many of you and your members, the PPP program was not accessible to so many of our Black-owned businesses. And it had to do with a multitude of issues, which included that those businesses were not necessarily engaged with the big banks, didn't necessarily have the familiar or the consistent relationship, if not any relationship, with a banker who could then call somebody up and say, Miss Smith, this thing is coming down and this is how you apply for it. But what we know is those relationships do exist. And so for whom those relationships are intact, they got the benefit. And for whom those relationships are not intact, they did not get the benefit of the PPP. So the President and I, together with the Secretary, have been looking at how we can do better, knowing the mistakes that were made, and improve on what we need to do to bring relief to the businesses of our country to help our economy grow. So we are thinking of it in two ways as a general matter. There is the piece of it that is about what we need to do to get control of the public health component crisis of the pandemic. And so I'm going to talk for a minute about vaccines. And it is about getting our business back up and running, understanding those 2 points are inextricably linked. That one of the reasons we got into the catastrophe, the most recent catastrophe, I'm going to put aside pre-existing issues, but the most recent catastrophe around our Black businesses is because also we need to get control of the pandemic. So on the subject of the pandemic, we have crafted, and the President has proposed the American Rescue Plan. And a large part of that plan is focused on vaccination. And so, for example, we are putting in $400 billion to have a vaccine distribution plan. And this is the first time that the federal government has come in, sadly, since the pandemic started, to support states to do the vaccine distribution piece. But that's going to be up and running. So part of what we're going to ask is for your assistance and support for that component, not only of the American Rescue Plan, but what we need to do to actually make it work, meaning getting folks to go and get vaccinated. Because it's good to have a vaccine, but if folks don't get vaccinated, it won't save the lives we intend to save. We also have a part that is basically about bringing the economy back to full employment. And doing that in a way that we understand that Black workers see the biggest wage gains when the economy is at full employment. So the way we're going to do that is, yes, by the vaccinations, but also we need to open schools and reopen them safely. So that is part of our American Rescue Plan. Also, we made a commitment for $2,000 of relief to families. There was a down payment on that in the previous bill of $600, and we intend with this next bill, the American Rescue Plan, to have $1,400 checks going out to those folks who are most in need by way of relief to help them get through this moment of crisis so that at the end of it they can get back up and recover in the way that we intend. And also, more specifically, for our businesses, we are also creating a specific package of relief that is about $15 billion. This did not exist in previous bills, in the relief bill. $15 billion going to grant programs, not loans, grants, targeted at our smallest businesses, of which the majority of Black businesses are, and targeted at our Black and brown and minority-owned businesses. So this is some of the work we are doing, in addition to, as the Secretary said, what we are doing around the CDFIs, the Community Development Financial Institutions. And as a point of personal pride, that was one of the last things I worked on when I was in the Senate, together with Senator Cory Booker, Senator Mark Warner, and others. And the idea is basically to put more capital, to infuse more resources into our community banks, knowing that those are the ones that have the relationships with our businesses and are best equipped to support them, not only by way of grants and loans, but also by way of helping them grow their businesses, helping and surrounding them with the infrastructure of skills and resources they need to sustain a business. So these are some of the areas of focus.
This right here, Michael, is where, again, targeted efforts need to be made, unlike where you had the Trump folks, who it was all about big business and helping those who already got money.
Well, not only was it all about big business and helping those that already had money, it was also removing the inspector general who watched over how the money was distributed. Okay. And then we found out that you had like some Trump-related businesses or something like that got money as well from the first round of the I think it was the first round of the stimulus bill. So this is extremely good. I'm glad Madam Vice President Kamala Harris had this meeting along with Janet Yellen, and once again, this is an example of how politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. It's important for us to go back and look at the article from Forbes.com from April of 2020. 41% of Black-owned businesses had gone out of business because of the COVID economy as of April 2020. Now it's probably at least 50%. So what we just saw is an example of how elections have consequences and African Americans voting their interests. So we have to follow through on this. But what I just saw, that's a good start.
I keep saying, you should follow the money, follow the money.
Okay, pause it right there.
At the end of the day.
Pause it right there. Okay, so all this is connected. Okay. Now you have some people. Let me see. There goes the charges. Say 1,400. It's 600 plus 1,400, which is 2,000. But it's a $1.9 trillion bill. Look at what's in the bill. See, this reminds me of when you had the $2.2 trillion stimulus bill, the coronavirus bill, and there was a $1,200 stimulus check. And fathers who were behind on child support, they would keep either a portion or all of the check. They wouldn't keep it. It would go to the child. It would go to the custodial parent. It would go to the mother, to go to the child. And you have people putting out videos and things like this about this. Now that was based upon 1996 tax law. That wasn't something they created for that bill. That was based upon existing tax law that's been in effect since 1996. 1. 2, the bill was a $2.2 trillion bill. There was a whole lot in that bill that could help African American communities etc. And instead of us now some African American businesses did get small business money, the paycheck protection money. A lot of them were locked out for various reasons. Some of them did get the money who had banking relationships, who were more established, etc., and whose paperwork was in order. The question I kept asking, and if you saw my broadcast back then, we broke down what was in that $2.2 trillion bill. There was like $2 trillion worth of opportunities. The $1,200 stimulus checks, that was only, I think, if I remember, that made up only about $200 billion of the $2.2 trillion bill. You got $2 trillion worth of opportunities. There was opportunities for contracting, for businesses. Why weren't we focused on the $2 trillion? Because other people were. Why are we focused on the $200 billion over here that people putting out videos about? Baby daddies don't get a $1,200 check, as opposed to focusing on the $2 trillion over here. Because you had other people talking about the $2 trillion. How you doing, TC Cook? You had other people talking about the $2 trillion, focusing on that. We're focusing on the little money over here. So we have to change our perspective as well. Now, the other thing about the money, and go read the article from, it was originally from thegrio.com, picked up by Yahoo News, written by April Ryan for the Grio. Okay. And we'll pull it. You know, we talked about Byron Allen yesterday on the show. So we'll pull this up from the Grio. Because, you know, April Ryan is doing a great job over at the Grio. So let's go back. Let's pull this article up here. And they break down what's in this bill. When you talk about $15 billion for, this is going to the smallest of small businesses, which helps African American owned businesses. Okay. But you have to apply for the money. All right. If you just sit back and just talk about, we don't have this, we don't have that, and you don't apply for the money, guess what? You're not going to get it. Your paperwork has to be in order to get the money. I used to teach entrepreneurship. I taught entrepreneurship for 7 years. I taught entrepreneurship. There was a government program that we helped, that was where the participants of the program got grants. The small businesses got grants, but they had to, they got grants for their small business. And I was one of the instructors for the class. But their paperwork had to be in order. Tax returns, LLCs, paperwork, articles of organization, things like this. Their paperwork had to be in order to be able to get the money. And it was free money. It's a grant. You don't have to pay that back. So you're going to have a lot of people complaining. Okay. And you're going to have some people say, well, you know, minorities can apply for this money. So my response to them is somebody who's actually managed African-American owned companies that have had government contracts with the city of Detroit, county of Wayne, and state of Michigan. And we were employing, we had African-American employees who were taking care of their families. As somebody who's actually put in bids and won government contracts. The question I would ask those people who probably never done any of that, the question I would ask them is, why wouldn't we focus on being the majority of the minorities getting the money and applying for the money? If the money's there, $15 billion in grants to the hardest hit small businesses. If the money's there, why would we sit up on social media complaining as opposed to focusing on being the majority of the quote unquote minorities applying and getting the money? Because many people's minds are wired to complain and not wired to conquer, not wired to accomplish. Okay. This is why you have to be careful of who you spend your time with. If you hang around 4 broke people, you're going to be number 5. You have to be careful of the company that you keep. You have to be careful of the information that you read. Your thoughts create feelings. Your feelings create actions and behaviors. Your actions and behaviors create results. When you study gurus of sales like Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, when you study people like Les Brown, but even more so like Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, this is the type of information that you're going to get. I've read all of them. I have tons of books dealing with sales because I was in sales for over 20 years. I have tons of books dealing with business and sales. I don't just study history. My degree's in business administration. I'm a historian, but I have a varied background. This is extremely important right here. This ties into policies. Okay. But all this right here, this bill, this is the result of African Americans voting their interests and voting Trump out of office and voting in Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. This is the result of organizing. This is the result of African Americans voting our interests and realizing that Trump was deaf and he's got to go. And other people agree with us and realized it also. So read this article here written by our sister April Ryan for thegrio.com. Vice President Harris hosts roundtable with Black Chamber of Commerce. This is from February 5th, 2021. Okay. All right. We'll post the link here to this article. Because I oftentimes hear a lot of people say all this, all these people popping off at the mouth on social media. I call them mouth poppers. And then you ask them, well, what have you done? What have you accomplished? You ever had government contract? You ever done this? You ever done that? They ain't done none of that stuff. They just running their mouths. Okay, so that's why I don't spend a whole lot of time around them. All right. Next, let's go to this. I want to go to this next story here. This is dealing with Wisconsin. All right. And Wisconsin teachers put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. All right. Now, as we're talking about my online course that's starting up Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And one of the things we deal with in the online course is an 8-week online course that meets Tuesdays, 8 p.m. To 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have to come and be here on Tuesdays. We deal with thousands of years of history, and we deal with what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Okay. And we deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, and we deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, etc. So we just posted the link here. As soon as you register, you can start watching the class that I did in 2019 because it's archived there. So we do the class live. All the sessions are archived. You can go back and watch it over and over again. All right. And it's also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, right on the homepage. So this is right in time for African American History Month. You can watch from around the world. It's regularly $130. It's on sale $80. But one of the things I deal with in the class, and I also talk about this study from the Southern Poverty Law Center, Teaching Hard History American Slavery, that came out February of right about February 2018, right around February 1st, 2018. This study, and you can download this, it's free. You can download this. Go to splcenter.org, splcenter.org. You can download this study. It's a 52-page study, and it deals with how the history of slavery is incorrectly taught in schools all across the country. Incorrectly taught to African American students, incorrectly taught to white students. This story out of Wisconsin is an example of that. And they did a survey of 1,000 high school seniors, but also a survey of about 1,700 social studies teachers. Okay. And they found how little the students knew about slavery. Only 8% of high school seniors surveyed could identify slavery as the central cause of the Civil War, and 68% did not know that it took a constitutional amendment to formally end slavery, the 13th Amendment. The advisory commission, that the advisory panel that put this together, is chaired by Dr. Hassan Kwame Jeffries, who I've interviewed before. We were talking about John Lewis and the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. Hassan Kwame Jeffries, who's a nephew to one of my teachers, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So if you look at if you look at this one here, this article here, this deals with Wisconsin. Wisconsin teachers put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. So Madison, Wisconsin teachers are on leave after creating an assignment asking students how to punish slaves appropriately. Sixth grade students at Patrick Marsh Middle School were studying the laws of the king of Hammurabi in ancient Mesopotamia when they were asked how they would, quote unquote, punish a slave as an assignment. Now, Desaria Irvins whose son attends the school, said what made the assignment even more piercing is the fact it happened on the first day of Black History Month, African American History Month. And probably on our show Sunday night, we'll deal with the history of African American History Month, and we'll deal with the Dr. Carter G. Woodson and Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, and he co-founding the association September 9th, 1915, and 1915 was the 50th anniversary of the end of the Civil War and the 13th Amendment of all that. We'll probably deal with that on Sunday's show. All right. So Desaria Irvins said, quote, "I can see how they're learning about this era, but the word of the question and the statement, it was just wrong." Okay. But the wording of the question and the statement was just wrong. She said this to NBC affiliate Channel 15. She went on to say, "I was just shocked. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was just shocked. I couldn't believe what I was reading." Okay. We're going to, those watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting. We'll finish up this story. We're out of time here on 910 AM, the Superstation WFDF. Also, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. If it comes up with the AfricanHistoryNetwork.net, I own that also. It just AfricanHistoryNetwork.com redirects to the AfricanHistoryNetwork.net. I own both domains. Okay. All right. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. We'll talk to you Sunday night. Peace. All right. Stand by, everybody. Okay. How's everybody doing? All right. So we're here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. I was thinking of 6 days a week. Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. And Sundays, we're still here Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time also. Okay. All right. So let's continue with this story here. I'm going to pull up this article. This is from the Griot. And I saw a couple other outlets had this story as well. Okay, how's everybody doing? So this is from this story is from February 4th, 2021. Okay, from thegriot.com. Let's go to this story here. Then African American business owners post name your business here in the thread of the broadcast, and email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Okay, so Wisconsin teachers put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. Okay, Desaria Irvins, whose son attends the school, said what made the assignment even more piercing is the fact that it happened on the first day of Black History Month. All right, so if we look at the story here, and once again, this is an example. I've covered a number of different stories of history assignments or assignments dealing with slavery gone wrong, reenactments of slave auctions, all different types of things like that. And one of the things that's really good about the study from the Southern Poverty Law Center, Teaching Hard History, American Slavery, is that it gives recommendations of what not to do, how not to teach history. Okay. And one of the things that it says don't do is don't do slave reenactments. Okay. Don't do slave reenactments. All right. That's one of the things that it says don't do. And it gives a whole list of recommendations of how to more correctly teach the history of slavery. Okay. All right. Don't pay attention to the dumbass trolls. I'll just block them. We don't have time to deal with that. They don't have a life, nothing better to do. Okay. So, don't even worry about that. All right. Let's continue here. So I want to try to pull this up here, NBC Channel 5 in NBC Channel 5. Let's see if we can pull up this clip here. Okay. Okay, we'll try to pull that up. Just stand by.
Tonight, classroom controversy. The principal of Patrick Marsh Middle School in Sun Prairie is apologizing after this assignment asked sixth graders a hypothetical question about slavery.
NBC 15's Michelle Beck spoke with one mother who brought her concerns to administrators. And Michelle, there's an internal investigation underway.
12-year-old Xavion Hopkins took the assignment to his mom, not telling her what exactly it was. But by the look on his face, his mom says she knew something was wrong.
I just grabbed the laptop and I looked at it and I was just like, what? And just shocked. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
During social studies class Monday, Desaria Irvin's sixth grade son Xavion learned about ancient Mesopotamian law, Hammurabi's code.
I can see how they're learning about this era, but the wording of the question and the statement, it was just wrong.
The activity presented different scenarios, but the one that drew controversy at Patrick Marsh Middle School asked this. A slave has disrespected his master by telling him, "You are not my master. How will you punish this slave?"
It made me think of how they would treat me if I was in person in class. What would they think of me? And would they treat me like I was an outsider, and it made me feel scared and unsafe.
Irvin says she took her frustration to the teacher and the principal. Later that day, Principal Rebecca Zahn explained in an email to all families. The purpose of the activity was to help students understand how order was kept in the early civilization, how the laws were developed, and how unjust they were. She continued, "We know that it caused harm to our students and their families. Our intent missed the mark, and for that, we are deeply sorry."
To really give this a name, is this an act of racism?
The family also connected with Michael Johnson, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. He says he took the issue to the superintendent.
It's a lack of cultural competency. It's a lack of training. And there might be some underlying issues that we don't know about.
Superintendent Brad Sarin also wrote to families this afternoon apologizing for a, quote, grave error in judgment. He explained the activity was not part of a district curriculum and that teachers involved have been placed on administrative leave. Live in the newsroom, Michelle Beck, NBC 15 News.
Okay, so that is from NBC Channel 15 News. If we go back to the article here from the Griot, it says Principal Rebecca Zahn and Associate Principal Amy Schernicker said, quote, "We regret that this assignment was not racially conscious and did not align to our district's mission and vision of equity." Okay. We know that it caused harm to our students and their families. Our intent missed the mark, and for that we are deeply sorry. Going forward, we will be sure to think critically about whether our intent matches our impact. Okay, so and you heard Irvin's Desario Irvin's son Xavion said the assignment deeply troubled him. And one of the things, when you read the study from the Southern Poverty Law Center, one of the things they talk about is how the slave reenactments and some of these history lessons dealing with slavery can be traumatic for students, make them feel inferior, can cause problems when they're not done correctly. Okay, this sounded like one of those lessons gone bad, slavery lessons gone bad. Now, the Sun Prairie Area School District placed the teachers on administrative leave pending an investigation. They did issue an apology. Okay, so you heard Michael Johnson, who called the assignment a lack of cultural competency. Desario Irvins also reached out to the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County, Michael Johnson. Now, this story comes on the heels of a Michigan teacher, and you'll see these stories periodically. This story comes on the heels of a Michigan teacher issuing a similar assignment back in December 2020, as previously reported by the Griot. A Detroit mother is concerned and upset after her daughter's 7th grade teacher thought it was appropriate to ask students the best way to discipline slaves. This was reported by WXYZ Channel 7 here in Detroit. Quote, "I never want my daughter to feel that way again. The way she felt this morning," said Jala Holt, the girl's mother. This was at Frost Middle School. Jade is a 7th grader at Frost Middle School. She said it was weird and uncomfortable. This is in Livonia, which is a white suburb of Detroit. And she said this in regards to how she felt about her coursework to WXYZ Channel 7. She said, "I read the question and typed my answer. It was there will be no punishment because I do not believe in slavery." Okay, that's her answer. There will be no punishment because I do not believe in slavery. Now, the question asked, the question read, "A slave stands before you. This slave has disrespected his master by telling him, 'You are not my master. How will you punish this slave?'" Okay, that's not the way. You don't want to teach slavery like that. History, that's not too good. All right. Now, concerns, the school issued a statement obtained by Channel 7 News. "Concerns from a parent were brought to our attention this morning, and we have reviewed a social studies assignment given to 3 classes of our 7th grade students. We apologize. We recognize the assignment in question was not constructed appropriately, as we believe in the importance of approaching topics of slavery in any era of world history with the utmost care and consideration." All right. So check out this article here from thegrio.com. This deals with another history lesson gone wrong, gone awry. Wisconsin teachers put on leave for an assignment asking how to punish slaves. It sounds like the teachers were not African American. It sounds like the principal and the assistant principal sounds like they were not African American either. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing? We have Michelle, Donna, Nicole, a few of the people watching, Greg, Rhonda. All right. You've heard me talk about the bundle pack we have at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All this helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting. So for African American History Month, we have a 15 DVD bundle pack that includes 15 of my lectures, DVD lectures that I've done. It's also in digital download format. The Michael Imhotep 15 DVD bundle pack. Okay, this is at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And I'm going to pull this up here. It's right on the homepage of our website. It's on sale $100. It's a 15 DVD bundle. And let's see here. I think we still have it up. Yeah, we still have this up here. Let me show you this quickly. Also on the homepage of our website, we have the where you can register for our online course. The online course I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And that's going to be 8 consecutive Tuesdays, starting Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But very quickly here, so we're shipping these out daily. This is a 15 DVD bundle pack. Includes all the lectures are done by me, and you get lectures dealing with the film Black Panther that I've done. That shows how the film Black Panther relates to African history and culture and language, things like that. You get this one here dealing with the history of African American History Month. Many people don't know the history. I do lectures across the country. Many people don't know the history of Black History Month, and Dr. Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which is now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And a lot of people don't know the annual theme. There's an annual theme for African American History Month. This year's theme is the Black family, identity, representation, and let me see, identity, representation, and diversity. The Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. That's the annual theme for African American History Month 2021 from ASALA, Association for the Study of African American Life and History. There's been an annual theme going back to 1928. I've looked at the annual themes going all the way back to 1928. Okay. And the annual theme helps to give purpose and direction to the celebration each year, as opposed to just recycling the same 15 to 20 sanitized Negroes every year, and people getting tired of that, not wanting to go to African American History Month celebrations, okay? Because that happens also. All right. So you get my presentation dealing with breaking the chains, why we celebrate African American History Month, exposing the myths. You get that one. That's about a 3-hour presentation. And then also Malcolm X, 50 years later, why is he still relevant? This one here dealing with the distortion of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the revolutionary, will not be televised on the television. The revolutionary will not be televised on the television. I deal with the revolutionary Dr. King. And this is the Dr. King they don't show you every Dr. King day. All right. They don't deal with the revolutionary Dr. King. They don't deal with the Dr. King that tried to get a concealed pistol license in 1956 during the Montgomery bus boycott because he was getting death threats, and his house was firebombed twice in 1956 because of the Montgomery bus boycott. So they don't deal with the revolutionary Dr. King. All right, so you get that one. Also, the second one here dealing with the film Black Panther, lessons from the film Black Panther, economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda to vote. This deals with, this presentation deals with how do we take the enthusiasm from the film Black Panther and actually use it for political empowerment and economic empowerment. Okay. So we have that. We have that one as well. Then we have, let's look at this here. So we have that one. Then we have this one here, the 3/5 Compromise of 1787, and also deal with the Electoral College, the origins of the Electoral College, how it actually works. In the 3/5 Compromise, we deal with the Philadelphia Convention in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution, that people mistakenly think said we were 3/5 of a human being. That's That's not what it said. Okay, it's dealing with representation. How do you determine how many seats in the House of Representatives slave-holding states will have? Okay, that's what that's dealing with. How do you determine how many seats in the House of Representatives slave-holding states will have? Okay, that's what that's dealing with. Okay, all right. So we deal with that also, and because that's oftentimes misunderstood. A lot of people think it was saying we were 3/5 of a human being. No, it's counting 3/5 of the population of the slave-holding states. Okay, so if Virginia, hypothetically, if Virginia had 100,000 slaves, then you would count 600,000 of those slaves to determine how many seats in the House of Representatives Virginia would have. That's what it was dealing with. It wasn't saying they were 3/5 of a human being, because a lot of the southern states didn't recognize their humanity at all. Okay, or recognize them as being human at all. And then at the same time, the free population, the full population of free African Americans was counted as well, even though it was a small population, depending upon classification, etc. But the full population of free African Americans at the time was counted. So we have that presentation. Then we have this one here dealing with entrepreneurship and economic empowerment, 13 forms of wealth and redistributing the pain, keys to economic empowerment and entrepreneurship for African Americans. And I tie that into historical African American figures as well. You get this one here, the racist history of the white national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. We deal with the history of the Pledge of Allegiance and Francis Scott Key, who wrote it during the War of 1812. It was in 1814. He wrote that. And then we deal with the Pledge of Allegiance, written by Francis Bellamy. He was a socialist minister in 1892. He wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. And then I tie all that into the history of Colin Kaepernick's protests. Okay, so you get that one as well. And then you can purchase these individually or in a bundle pack. This one here, this is a double lecture I did with Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. So he dealt with information from his book and research from his book. And I dealt with great African women in history, the mothers of civilization. So it's a double lecture that we did. So you get that one. And also this 4-hour presentation I did, redistributing the pain, how African Americans historically fought back with economic boycott. So I show you documented examples of us using different types of economic withdrawal strategies to fight back against white supremacy and racism. Okay, and because these are strategies largely we can implement today. But a lot of people don't know these success stories. A lot of people don't know that history. So that's a 4-hour presentation that I deal with. I deal with it in that 4-hour presentation. And redistributing the pain comes from Dr. King's last speech. I've been to the mountaintop April 3rd, 1968. He said we have to find a way to redistribute the pain. And he's speaking to the sanitation workers of Memphis, Tennessee. And he talks about boycotting Coca-Cola and Hart's Bread and Wonder Bread and Seal Test Milk for the discriminatory hiring practices. He talks about supporting African-American owned banks and life insurance companies and business and boycotting businesses who are not treating us correctly, etc. He's talking about economic withdrawal. He says we have to always anchor our external direct action with the power of economic withdrawal. That's in his last speech. I've been to the mountaintop. Now, during Dr. King Day, they'll usually show you the last 2 minutes of the speech, or he's talking about getting to the mountaintop, but they don't show you the part of the speech where he's talking about economics, okay, and economic empowerment. They don't usually show you that part of the speech. This one here, The Light of Ancient Egypt Awakens the African Mind to Economic Empowerment. This was one I did during African American History Month as well. I did this February 25th, 2017. It's another good presentation. And this one here deals with a lot of history. Human guinea pigs. This deals with the history of the Tuskegee experiment of untreated syphilis on a Negro male and separating fact from fiction. Because the experiment, contrary to popular belief and memes on social media that don't provide any sources, the study did not inject men with syphilis. There were 600 men in the study. 399 of the men had an early form of syphilis called latent syphilis, which means you have syphilis, but you don't have any symptoms. They had latent syphilis. And there were 201 men who were the control group. They didn't have syphilis. So you compare the group that has syphilis to the group that doesn't have syphilis. Okay. The study was not a good study. I'm not saying that it was good. I'm saying a lot of information floating around about it is just wrong. They didn't inject them with syphilis. So I deal with that whole study, and it was originally supposed to be last 6 to 9 months, ended up lasting 40 years. So we deal with the whole history of it and how it became known, how it became exposed, and why it was shut down, etc. Okay, so we have that one, and then this one here, Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. So we deal with some well-known and not so well-known women in our history from all different time periods. You'll get the 4-hour version. It's a 2 DVD set, 4 hours. This one deals with lessons from the film Black Panther. I'm doing a presentation to 65th through 12th graders and their teachers, and we're dealing with different themes from the film Black Panther, how they actually relate to history, how they can actually use this to teach history. Okay, so I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation also. So we have that one in the bundle pack. This is all in the same bundle pack. African-American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. And I deal with 3 main things. I deal with similarities between Richard Nixon becoming president in 1968 and Donald Trump becoming president in 2016. And Nixon is a backlash to the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, the rebellions taking place in the country at the time. And then Donald Trump is a backlash to 2 terms of President Barack Obama and the Black Lives Matter movement, any perceived advances African Americans made, etc. He's a backlash to that. I also deal with the voter suppression that took place during the 2016 election as well. Okay, so there's a lot of information in that one. And this last one here, Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice, and the History of Christmas. Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice, and the History of Christmas. So this deals with the pre-Christian celebrations, winter solstice celebrations that existed before Christmas that influenced, that are going to be incorporated into the celebration of Christmas, that will shape the creation of what we know as the celebration of Christmas. Okay. And, we deal with pre-Christian ancient winter festivals celebrated by Europeans, like the Festival of Saturnalia, the Festival of Mithra, the Festival of Yule, etc. And these usually took place either around the winter solstice, December 21st, or the vernal equinox, March 21st. The vernal equinox, March, the first day of spring. Okay, so that's a deep presentation. Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice, and the History of Christmas, and it ties into Asar, Aset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus, and Heru being born on December 25th to a virgin birth by Aset, or who the Greeks called Isis. Okay, so some of this may go outside the circumference of some people's awareness. Just because you never heard it before, disagree with it, or don't like it, does not mean it's not true. Just means you have to do some research to understand what I'm talking about. So we provide you with that information. So that's the Michael Imhotep Black History Month 15 DVD bundle pack. It's available right now at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, right on the home page. So we are shipping these orders out, and we'll post a link here again as well. Okay, so hey, we'll be back. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, and Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The African History Network show. We have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. We'll be back Sunday night. And visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We also have a recommended reading list of books there. Click on book list. You can read articles I've written. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Follow us on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, as well. And if you like this type of information, if you want to support us and donate to the African History Network, $ TheAHNShow through Cash App or through PayPal, paypal.me/TheAHNShow. All right. Talk to you all. We'll talk to you all Sunday night. Okay. Take care. Peace.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us, 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. Intuitive Design Clothing is an online accessory store that sells one-of-a-kind signature statement pieces for men and women. They also specialize in fashion consultations, closet organization, and decorating small spaces. Are you looking for a statement piece for a special affair, or would you like to add some select pieces to your ensemble of accessories? If you're looking for something different, definitely contact Kathy Norman, owner and CEO of Intuitive Design Clothing. Visit their website, intuitivedesignClothing.com. That's intuitivedesignClothing.com, and you can email her at info@intuitivedesignClothing.com. Intuitive Design Clothing is where every entrance is a grand entrance.
Are you getting ready for fall or winter? We have the solution for all seasonal clothing needs. KemeticWear.com is the go-to online source for Kemetic African fashion and lifestyle products with a contemporary twist. We're committed to offering unique style reflecting our African heritage. KemeticWear.com is inspired by KemeticScribes.com to influence our people in learning and showing pride. Please visit our website at KemeticWear.com.
I want to go to this next story here. Let's see, Byron Allen. So we talked about Byron Allen in his lawsuit last year with Charter Communications. TheGrio.com is reporting, and we know Byron Allen bought the Grio. That was a good move. I remember Byron Allen on Real People back in the 1980s. I think like late 70s, early 80s. So Real People was on at the same time that That's Incredible was on. Okay, I'm taking it just like way back. Okay. Some people never heard of these shows before. But That's Incredible. And on That's Incredible, each week they had different segments of people that did all types of incredible things. Remember there was one guy, he was a basketball player, and he could run up the side of a wall or something. They called him like Spider-Man. Remember there was another guy, he caught bullets in his teeth. He wore like a rubber mouth guard, and somebody would fire a bullet at him with a handgun and he would catch it in his teeth. They had all different types. It's kind of like a Guinness Book of World Records or Ripley's Believe It or Not, something like that, similar to that. So that was on at the same time that Real People was on. Byron Allen was on Real People. But Byron Allen, chairman and CEO of Allen Media Group Entertainment Studios and owner of the Grio, has settled and withdrawn his $10 billion lawsuit against Charter Communications. let's see here. Let's post this. Just 1 second here. She said, I'm telling my age. Hey, I'm proud. I'll be 50 June 7th. Okay. So, hey. So people tell me I look good for my age. So, yeah, but no, I remember all that stuff. So, he has settled and withdrawn his $10 billion lawsuit against Charter Communications. Now, the announcement was made on Wednesday, February 3rd, by Byron Allen and Charter Communications in a joint statement provided by the GRIO. Okay. And we'll pull up a picture of Byron Allen as well. In August, the racial discrimination suit filed against the telecommunications giant was allowed to proceed by a federal district court judge, George H. Wu, W-U, George H. Wu. Now, Charter Communications is a leading broadband connectivity company and cable operator, leading broadband connectivity company and cable operator. And let me try to pull this up here. Just a second. All right, everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. And follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. And our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live also. All right. Will that open up? Okay. Let's see here. And let's turn on the screen share. Do it like that. All right. So it's Byron Allen. All right. All right. So Charter Communications is a leading broadband connectivity company and a cable operator, serving more than 31 million customers in 41 states through its Spectrum band. Over an advanced communications network, the company offers a full range of state-of-the-art residential and business services, including Spectrum Internet, TV, mobile, and voice. Spectrum Internet, TV, mobile, and voice. Now, the Charter Communications settlement comes after Byron Allen announced in summer of 2020 that Entertainment Studios Networks, Entertainment Studios Networks, and Comcast had entered into a content carriage arrangement that extends and amends terms for the Weather Channel and 14 broadcast television stations, because Byron Allen bought up a number of broadcast television stations also, which is another good move. That's definitely something that's needed. And you know, Byron Allen. So when he started on Real People, he was something like, I think, like 19 years old, something like that. And I thought he was just a funny black guy on the TV show. Really, I mean, you know, he was a young kid. He's like 19, maybe 20. So you really didn't see him becoming a media mogul like this. But it's a good thing that he is. We need that. Now, Byron Allen founded Allen Media Group Entertainment Studios in 1993. Allen Media Group Entertainment Studios in 1993. Allen Media Group owns 16 ABC NBC, CBS, and Fox network affiliate broadcast television stations, 16 of them. Now, I talked about this before. You see celebrities, hip hop artists, things like this, buying Lamborghinis, buying this, buying that, spending all this money, popping bottles, furs, all this stuff like that, right? Now, I know Byron has tuxedos and, you know, he's not living the life of a pauper, but I don't remember seeing articles or things like this about him buying material things, Lamborghinis, and spending all this money on a night out or clubs, you know, things that you hear from like a lot of celebrities, especially a lot of African-American celebrities. But I do read about him, like in Black Enterprise. I do read about him buying assets, about buying TV stations, about acquiring things like that. So I think there's a lesson in there somewhere. So Allen Media Group owns 16 ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox network affiliate broadcast television stations, and 10 24-hour high definition television networks serving nearly 180 million subscribers. He owns 16 NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox network affiliate broadcast television stations and 10 24-hour high definition television networks serving nearly 180 million subscribers. Allen Media Group also owns the Weather Channel, Comedy TV, Recipe TV, Cars TV, this is a whole bunch of stuff. The Griot TV, whole bunch of stuff. Justice Central. Now, Allen Media Group will add its 11th network, the Weather Channel in Espanol, in 2021. Allen Media Group also owns Local Now and the Griot free streaming AVOD services, powered by the Weather Channel and Content Partners, which delivers real-time, hyper-local news, weather, traffic, sports, and lifestyle information. So, because I hear people talking, you know, they're balling out of control, and they're talking about how many Rolex watches they have, and you see stuff, you see these different articles floating around, especially in some African American news sources. I'm not gonna call any names. And they got all these black celebrity articles, reality TV stars, and all this conspicuous consumption, right? Then you see Byron Allen acquiring assets, building a media empire, employing people. The Griot hired April Ryan as the White House correspondent, veteran journalist April Ryan as the White House correspondent. So, you know, Michael V. Roberts, who's a multimillionaire. I know Michael V. Roberts. We're in a documentary together. We see each other periodically at different events. We've been on a couple panel discussions together as well. And I met him through Dave Anderson, who owns the Empowerment Radio Network. When I used to be on the Empowerment Radio Network, and we're in the documentary Black Friday. I think he's in Black Friday. I think he's in Black Friday as well, from director Rick Matthews. He has a saying, Michael V. Roberts. He says, how's it go? Rich people yell and wealthy people whisper. Rich people yell and wealthy people whisper. See, he says, he said the reason why like a lot of people really don't know about me, he said, because rich people yell and wealthy people whisper. He's very wealthy. Okay. So, all right. So check out this article here from thegriot.com dealing with Byron Allen. You probably hear some more about this as well, hopefully. Let's pull up this article from the Griot. The Griot has some good articles. I'm glad it's African American owned and operated as well, because we need to own our media outlets. Okay, it can't just have African writers. We need to own it, run it, etc. Make money from the advertising. Byron Allen settles $10 billion lawsuit with Charter Communications. So check this out from thegrio.com. Okay, let's go to this next story here quickly. How's everybody doing? Andre Hill. So the case of Andre Hill, his killing in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, that was a very, very disturbing case. The family has hired Benjamin Crump as the family attorney. There's an article from news1.com. The family is saying that the indictment on murder charges of the officer is not enough. We're not satisfied. It's not enough. Definitely agree with that. So NBC News reported on February 3rd, former Ohio police officer indicted in fatal shooting of Andre Hill. Okay. Former Ohio police officer indicted in fatal shooting of Andre Hill. We're going to go to this clip here in just a second also. I want to pull this up. Let's go to this clip. I want to go to this clip here from NBC Nightly News. This is from February 4th, 2021. Just a second here.
Video shows the moment former Columbus officer Adam Coy. Police body cam video shows the moment former Columbus officer Adam Coy allegedly shot and killed Andre Hill in a friend's garage. A grand jury charging the 19-year police veteran with murder, assault, and dereliction of duty for not turning on his body camera until after opening fire.
Hands out to the side now!
Once fully activated, the 60 seconds of video showing the shooting are recovered without audio. Today, Hill's family relieved but not fully satisfied.
Adam Coy messed with the wrong family, and his family is not backing down, and we are going to make sure that all 4 convictions happen.
Coy's attorney says the former officer is not guilty, and that Coy and Hill interacted before what's seen on the video without providing details. Police were responding to a neighbor's non-emergency call about a suspicious vehicle.
My client believed that there was a silver revolver in the right hand of Mr. Hill. And when it raised up, my client stepped back and yelled, "Gun, gun, gun," and fired his weapon in what he believed was in defense of himself.
Investigators say Hill was not armed. Hill's family angry that he was handcuffed and that the video appears to show he was not given medical aid for more than 5 minutes.
When a white police officer is indicted for killing a black man, an unarmed black man, that does not translate into a conviction.
Coy, now in custody, expected to make his first appearance in court tomorrow. Ron Allen, NBC News.
Okay, so that was from NBC Nightly News from February 4th, 2021. If we look at this article from NBC News, and let me pull it up here. If we look at this article here, former Ohio police officer indicted in fatal shooting of Andre Hill. So an Ohio grand jury on Wednesday indicted a former Columbus police officer in the fatal shooting of an African-American man who was at the garage of a home where he was a guest, the state attorney general said. And let me pull this up here so I can show you this. Okay, Adam Coy, 19-year-old veteran, had been fired from the Columbus Police Department. He was indicted on murder, and other counts in the December 22nd killing of Andre Hill. So let's go to this here. Pull this one up. All right. So Adam Coy fatally shot Andre Maurice Hill, 47, on December 22nd after responding to a call that a person in a vehicle had been turning the engine on and off. Now, former officer Adam Coy said he thought he saw a gun in Andre Hill's hand, but State Attorney General Yost said, but no weapon was found. Now, Adam Coy's attorney, former officer Adam Coy's attorney, said the now former officer believed keys on a ring were a gun, a revolver. He believed keys on a key ring were a revolver. So Andre Hill did not have a gun. He had keys on a key ring in his hand. Quote, "Let me be clear that I believe the evidence in this case supports the indictment," State Attorney General Yost said, "and my office will vigorously prosecute this case." Now, the fatal shooting sparked outrage, and former officer Adam Coy was fired from the Columbus Police Force. Now, Coy's attorney, Mark Collins, said that the indictment was expected. Collins said that Coy saw keys in Andre Hill's, it should be Andre Hill, that was typo here, Andre Hill's hand, and believed them to be a weapon. When he saw the right hand come toward him, he thought there was a silver revolver. Okay, Coy's attorney Mark Collins said. Now, he said Supreme Court rulings provide for defenses for officers in shootings. Quote, "An officer can be mistaken about the threat, and that's justified if that mistake was an honest belief and was reasonable." Now, Collins said that former officer Coy will plead not guilty. The officer failed to turn on his body camera prior to shooting Andre Hill and failed to provide medical assistance. The officer failed to turn on his body camera prior to shooting Andre Hill and failed to provide medical assistance, the police chief said, and recommending that Officer Adam Coy be fired. Now, Andre Hill was a guest of the homeowner and had not committed a crime when two officers approached the garage he was standing in around 1:30 a.m. Both officers who interacted with Andre Hill failed to activate their body-worn cameras. Both officers failed to activate their body-worn cameras until immediately after the shooting, a violation of department protocol. A look-back feature on the department's camera, the body camera, is called a look-back feature, was able to capture the 60 seconds before the camera turned on, but did not record audio in those 60 seconds. Okay, it's a look-back feature. So if the camera's off, you can recover 60 seconds of video before the camera was turned on, but not audio. The video shows at the time Officer Adam Coy using his flashlight as he walked up the driveway. Andre Hill then walks toward the officers while holding his cell phone when the officer fired his weapon. Andre Hill's other hand could not be seen clearly. Body camera footage then showed officers failing to render aid or medical assistance for Andre Hill as he lay on the ground for several minutes following the shooting, another violation of policy. So you have to ask the question, okay, you forget to turn your body camera on, but after you shoot him, why don't you render any aid? Where's your humanity? Where's your compassion? Why don't you render any aid? You didn't turn your body camera on. Okay, that's against department policy. That's a big mistake. But now you shoot somebody, he's laying on the ground, dying. Why don't you render any aid? Now, Attorney Collins said that there had been other interactions between Adam Coy and Andre Hill, and the body camera footage only shows a fraction of what occurred. Andre Hill was struck 4 times, State Attorney General Yost's office said. A special prosecution section of the State Attorney General's office was appointed by the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office to prosecute the case. Now, the grand jury indicted former officer Adam Coy on murder in the commission of a felony, the felony being felonious assault and 2 counts of dereliction of duty. Now, the dereliction of duty counts stem from Officer Adam Coy allegedly failing to turn on his body camera and for allegedly failing to tell his fellow officer that he believed Andre Hill presented a danger. The grand jury did not indict Adam Coy on a charge of purposeful murder. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther, who had demanded Officer Adam Coy's firing, tweeted his thanks to the grand jury. In the tweet, he said, "The indictment does not lessen the pain of his tragic death for Mr. Hill's loved ones, but it is a step toward justice," Mayor Ginther wrote. So check out this article here from NBC News. Former Ohio police officer indicted in fatal shooting of Andre Hill. Hopefully this will lead to a conviction. All right. So we'll see what happens here. But you have some gross negligence here. One, you don't turn on your body camera. Neither officer turned on the body camera, which is really problematic. 2, neither officer rendered any type of aid while Andre Hill lay dying. So you have to ask the question, why? Did you forget all your first aid training or something? You have to forget, maybe we'll find out in the trial. All right. So we have Erica, Carl, Robert, TJ, grandmother 8. Just a few of the people watch it. Rhonda. Let's go to this last story here. This is dealing with Rosa Parks. All right. Also, if you'd like this type of information, you can support us at through Cash App, $ the AHN Show, through Cash App, $ the AHN Show, through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. The 15 DVD bundle pack, the Black History Month bundle pack, the Michael Imhotep Black History Month bundle pack that is on sale right now. Also includes 15 of my DVD lectures, and just in time for Black History Month. And you get everything from the presentation dealing with the history of African American History Month, to 2 of my lectures, actually 3 of my lectures dealing with the film Black Panther. This is so much in this one here. It's on sale right now. It's at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com is right on the homepage. Michael Imhotep Black History Month DVD bundle pack. Your Black History Month will never be the same. You watch these, and these are lectures I've done. I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, provide you with all types of documentation, sources, book sources, video clips, articles, everything. You get my lecture dealing with the film Black Panther analysis, African culture, history, and Afrofuturism. That's almost 3-hour presentation. You get Breaking the Chains, Why We Celebrate Black History Month, deals with the whole history of Black History Month, and Dr. Carter G. Woodson. I have one dealing with Malcolm X, 50 years later, why is he still relevant? This one here, The Distortion of the Legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Revolutionary, will not be televised on the television. So we deal with the Revolutionary Dr. King. This other one here dealing with Black Panther, lessons from the film Black Panther, economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda the vote. So I do how do we take the enthusiasm from the film Black Panther and actually use it for economic empowerment, political empowerment. This one here deals with the 3/5 Compromise of 1787, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution, and the history of the Electoral College. And the 3/5 Compromise did not say we were 3/5 of a human being. That's a misunderstanding of that. It's dealing with how do you count the population of slaves to determine how many seats in the House of Representatives a particular state will have. This one deals with entrepreneurship and economic empowerment, and also a lot of history, 13 forms of wealth, and redistributing the pain, keys to economic empowerment and entrepreneurship for African Americans, because I taught entrepreneurship for 7 years. This one here deals with the history of the national anthem, Francis Scott Key, who wrote it in 1814 during the War of 1812. I deal with the history of the Pledge of Allegiance, which was written in 1892 by a socialist minister named Francis Bellamy. He was a socialist. Won't the Republicans be surprised when they found out a socialist wrote the Pledge of Allegiance? And then I deal with the history of Colin Kaepernick's protest and tie all that together. Okay. You also get the double lecture I did with Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. So he's dealing with that information from his book. And then I'm dealing with great African women in history, the mothers of civilization. You get this 4-hour presentation here that I did, Redistributing the Pain, how African Americans historically fought back with economic boycotts. So this deals with a history of us using different types of economic withdrawal strategies to fight back against white supremacy. You get great African women in history, mothers of civilization, where we deal with some well-known and not so well-known African women in our history, from Offset to Queen Nzinga, Yasantiwa, Assata Shakur, Angela Davis, Queen Charlotte Sophia. It's a double DVD. You get it's like a 4-hour presentation, and then also another one you get, Ancient Kemet, the Winter Solstice and the History of Christmas. This deals with the whole origins of Christmas, the pre-Christian celebrations, winter festival celebrations like this festival of Mithra, or festival of Roman festival of Saturnalia, things like this, and the origins of Christmas, what leads these pre-Christian holidays that took place that are going to make up what we know as Christmas. Okay, so that is it's a 15 DVD bundle pack that's available right now at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, a Black History Month bundle pack. So that'll keep you busy for the month of February. We have those shipping out daily. That'll keep you busy for the month of February. All right, let's go to this last story here. So February 4th is the birth date of Rosa Parks. Okay, and there's an article from News1.com dealing with Rosa Parks. There's one also from History.com, the official website of the History Channel. Okay, Rosa Parks was born in 1913. You look at the one from News1.com. And let's see here. Okay, if we look at the one from news1.com here quickly. Remembering Rosa Parks' resilience and resistance in the face of racism. Remembering Rosa Parks' resilience and resistance in the face of racism. The civil rights icon whose refusal to give up her bus seat to a white passenger sparked the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. She would have turned 108 today. Okay. Kristen Clark, who was with the Lawyers Commission, she tweeted, on this date, Rosa Parks was arrested in Montgomery, 1955. Rosa Parks was arrested in Montgomery, Alabama for refusing to give up her seat to a white passenger on a city bus. Her fierce act of resistance and civil disobedience sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, which eventually led to desegregation of city buses in Montgomery, Alabama. Let me see something here. Okay, December 1st, 1955. This day. Okay, people are posting. All right, so check out this article here. I want to go to. Okay, so yeah, she was secretary of the Montgomery, Alabama NAACP chapter at the time. We know she was not the first woman to refuse to give up her seat. Claudette Colvin, Susie McDonald, and Mary Louise Smith, and other women were arrested for their resistance. They're going to be part of a lawsuit called Browder versus Gale. It's 4 African-American women. They were the plaintiffs in a lawsuit called Browder versus Gale, filed February 1st, 1956. Really, S. Browder, Claudette Colvin, Susie McDonald, and Mary Louise Smith. They were the plaintiffs. They were the plaintiffs in the case. Okay, and that lawsuit is going to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. That lawsuit goes all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and that is what's going to end segregation on the buses in Montgomery, Alabama. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional for segregation to take place on the buses. That's called the lawsuit of Browder versus Gale. Gale in the lawsuit was William A. Gale, who was the mayor of Montgomery, Alabama. All right, I want to go to this article here from history.com. This day in history. Civil rights icon Rosa Parks is born. Now, she was born Rosa Louise McCauley. That's her maiden name, McCauley. Usually you don't hear her referred to by her maiden name, okay? Rosa Louise McCauley, also known as Rosa Parks. She was born in Tuskegee, Alabama on February 4th, 1913. A lifelong civil rights activist, Rosa Parks' name has become synonymous with her refusal to give up her seat to a white man on a segregated bus, a defining moment of the civil rights movement. But she was an activist long before that, okay? One of the things she was doing for the NAACP was investigating sexual assaults on African-American women, okay? And she was also investigating claims that, black men raped white women, things like that. There's another article from history.com dealing with Rosa Parks because she investigated. Let me see here. Let me pull this other one up here. I've talked about this before. There was another one dealing with Rosa Parks and investigating sexual assaults. Let me see if I can find this one here. Yeah. This is from December 8th, 2017. It's updated January 26, 2021. Before the bus, Rosa Parks was a sexual assault investigator. Before the bus, Rosa Parks was a sexual assault investigator. And so a lot of people don't know this history. I mean, like I said, she was involved in civil rights long before the bus came along, long before the Montgomery bus boycott. Why has history left out this piece of Rosa Parks' story? Before the bus, Rosa Parks was a sexual assault investigator. Revered as a civil rights icon, Rosa Parks is best known for sparking the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott, but her activism in the Black community predates that day. She joined the NAACP in 1943, 12 years before that fateful commute. In her first years in the organization, she worked specifically on criminal justice and its application in Alabama communities. One part of this was protecting Black men from false accusations and lynchings. One part of this was protecting Black men from false accusations and lynchings. The other was ensuring that African Americans who had been sexually assaulted by white people could get their day in court. This particular issue was close to Rosa Parks' heart, as in 1931, a white male neighbor had attempted to assault her. Now, Rosa Parks resisted and later said of the incident, quote, I was ready to die, but give my consent never, never, never. That incident was on her mind when she traveled to Aidville, Alabama in the autumn of 1944 to deal with a disturbing case chronicled in the movie The Rape of Reese Taylor. It was the evening of Sunday, September 3rd, and 24-year-old sharecropper Reese Taylor was walking home from church with her friend Fanny Daniel. A car carrying 7 young white men approached Reese Taylor and accused her of attacking a white boy in a nearby town. The men forced her into the car under the pretense of taking the married mother to see the sheriff. They did not. They blindfolded and gang raped her and then threatened her with death if she reported the crime. Okay. However, Reese Taylor, and here's a picture of Reese Taylor here. There was a documentary film made about her also. However, Reese Taylor did not keep quiet. After her father found her making her way home, she told him of her ordeal, and then they went to the sheriff. Her friend who had witnessed the abduction also contacted the police. According to Reese Taylor, the sheriff drove her to a store after hearing her story to see if they could find any of the rapists. In fact, he was able to find 2 of the young men. In a 2011 interview with NPR, National Public Radio, Reese Taylor recounted, quote, he asked the boys, was y'all with this lady tonight? And the white boy said, yeah. Mr. Lewis told them to get in the car and he left. We didn't have no other conversation said about the boys, he just left. Now, days later, news of the alleged assault reached the Montgomery offices of the NAACP, and they responded by sending along an investigator. Her name was Rosa Parks. So Rosa Parks investigated the sexual assault of Reese Taylor. This is long before the bus. Now, in the 1940s, Alabama segregationist laws and attitudes permeated every echelon of society. When Rosa Parks made her way to the Taylor home, she found the town sheriff there waiting for her. He made sure to make his presence known by repeatedly driving past the house, eventually entering the home and demanding Rosa Parks leave under the pretense of not wanting troublemakers in town. Maybe the troublemakers were the white man that gang raped Reese Taylor. Maybe those were the troublemakers. How is it the troublemaker is the person investigating the crime? Maybe the criminal rapists were the troublemakers. Now, Rosa Parks was undeterred and returned to Montgomery, Alabama, where she promptly launched the Committee for Equal Justice for the Rights of Miss Reese Taylor. The committee made sure the case received national attention, and by October, it was headline news. Here's a picture of Reese Taylor in 2010. Okay. Now, on October 9th of that year, a grand jury refused to indict the defendants. At the time, the Chicago Defender, African-American newspaper, reported that the suspect's lawyer offered $600 to Willie Guy Taylor, Reese Taylor's husband, for his wife's silence. Rosa Parks fired off a letter to the state's governor asking him not to, quote, fail to let people of Alabama know that there is equal justice for all of our citizens. Now, no charges were ever brought against the men. Reese Taylor's story and Rosa Parks' involvement in it received renewed attention as a result of the book At the Dark End of the Street by Danielle L. McGuire, published in 2010. In 2011, the Alabama House of Representatives approved a resolution apologizing to Reese Taylor for what they characterized as the state's morally abhorrent and repugnant failure to prosecute nearly 70 years after the fact. Reese Taylor died on December 28, 2017 at the age of 97. Okay. Now, this is so, when you hear people, especially Republicans, you hear people talk about Rosa Parks, they talk about her, sitting down so people can be free or whatever the hell they say. But they don't talk about this. They also don't talk about the fact that Rosa Parks' husband owned guns as well. That gets left out. Because when we deal with the history of the civil rights movement, and you've heard me talk about this before, we talk about books like this one right here, this Nonviolent Stuff That Gets You Killed, How Guns Made the Civil Rights Movement Possible, by Professor Charles E. Cobb Jr. It was African Americans with guns who were largely protecting civil rights workers in the South. This book deals with that whole history of that. Okay, so check out that article from history.com. Then also the other one, they have another one. They have a number of different articles, but civil rights icon Rosa Parks is born February 4th, 1913 as well. So check out that one also. Blackpast.org has articles dealing with Rosa Parks, and news1.com, etc. So check out all that as well. All right. Once again, so we have our 15 DVD bundle pack, the Michael Imhotep Black History Month 15 DVD bundle pack that's on sale right now at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, it's 15 of my lectures just in time for African American History Month, so you're going to learn a lot from these. It's on sale $100. We ship all around the world as well. We do international shipping. It's right on our homepage at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and includes 15 of my lectures. We also have my presentations on digital download at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com as well. And then we have these, so we're going to post a link here. And then the online course, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That starts up Tuesday, February 9th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's an 8-week, 16-hour online course. We do it live. All the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch it over and over again. And when you go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, we'll pull that up. I'll show it to you here. It's right on the home page. As soon as you register, you can start watching content, because the last time I did the class was 2019. So that class is archived, so you can start watching that now. And then we have the new class starting up February 9th, and we have some newer information, some updated information as well. It'll be some of the information that we did in 2019, but there's new information, of course. Okay, so when you go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, you scroll down, you see the information about the African History Network show, and then information about the class. And then just click right here, register here. And then it takes you and just click right here on enroll. And it enroll you. There's a video that you can watch. I did that back in 2019, I think. You can watch that and you enroll. Once you enroll, it's regularly $130. It's on sale $80. Once you enroll, you can start watching the class I did in 2019. All right. Okay, so and we do I do a PowerPoint presentation. I have video clips, and it's going to be really good now because I have a new laptop. So it's going to be sharper. It's going to look like this. It's going to be sharper. We have the 12-channel audio mixer, so I can show you the videos. We have articles, book references, everything. All right. So ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And let's see here. Let's pull this up here. Okay, so that's going to start up Tuesday, February 9th, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there'll be 8 consecutive Tuesdays. Once in a while, we have to throw in an extra class because I just have so much information. So if we have to do an extra class, so be it. But if you miss any of the classes, they're all recorded. You can go back and watch it at your leisure. That's fine. And there's a live chat in the class, so you can ask questions in the class live, and I'll answer your questions. If you have questions afterwards, you can email me. Okay. You can email us at AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AHNshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com for any questions you have about the class also. All right, look, hey, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace.
With BlackBusinessT.com, the messages are clear and meaningful. Keep your business in the black and out of the red. Mind your black business, know your numbers, and plan strategically. Black Business Boss, lead your industry. Support black business, encourage, patronize, and uplift one another. BlackBusinessT.com currently has products sold in Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles, with proceeds returned to the black community. They have a wide selection of hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sweatshirts that support black-owned businesses. Visit the website blackbusinesstee.com. That's blackbusinesstee.com. For 5 years, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum has carried on the rich legacy of the Black Museum movement in America by showcasing original artifacts of the Black experience at colleges, universities, K-12 schools, corporations, libraries, conferences, and cultural events. making it the most traversed Black History mobile exhibit in American history. Dr. Khalid El Hakim is the founder of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, and he is a highly sought-after public speaker on topics of Black history, social studies, education, museum studies, hip-hop, and race relations. Dr. Khalid was named among the change makers for NBC Universal's Erase the Hate campaign and listed as one of the 100 men of distinction for Black enterprise. He recently founded the Michigan Hip Hop Archive on the campus of Western Michigan University. The Black History 101 Mobile Museum is currently scheduling in-person and virtual exhibits nationwide. For more information, please contact Dr. Khalid El Hakim directly at 313-645-4197, 313-645-4197, or visit their website at blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. That's blackhistorymobilemuseum.com. You can also email him at bhistory101@yahoo.com, bhistory101@yahoo.com. Soul Natural Beauty Products offers organic, plant-based skin and hair care products that will rejuvenate skin and naturally grow and thicken hair. Their whipped shea butter can heal or restore damaged skin cells to prevent hyperpigmentation and skin breakouts. All products are made with organic plant-based ingredients. Their maximum hair growth oil is fortified with organic herbal extracts and undeniably proves that Mother Nature knows best. It thickens, lengthens, softens, and conditions all types of hair. They even guarantee hair improvement within 90 days or a full refund. Their all-natural 24-hour deodorant leaves the body smelling fresh without sweating for up to 24 hours. It does not stain fabric, goes on smoothly, and has a refreshing lavender and frankincense aroma. It can be used by men, women, and even children. Place your order today at soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com. That's soulnaturalbeautyproducts.com, and follow them on Facebook at Soul Natural Beauty Products.
Do you have an idea or business that requires app development or thinking of moving your IT resources to the cloud? We have post-paid and profit-sharing plans for unique ideas or profitable businesses. Who can take advantage of this unique program? Entrepreneurs with unique ideas, startups, small to medium businesses. Contact us 267-209-0352.
Visit nomadicsystems.net, nomadicsystems.net today. Gain knowledge in minutes with Blacklist Ed. Blacklist Ed is an app that provides insightful summaries of books pertaining to the Black experience. As Black people, we know the importance of reading books to discover our incredible contributions to world history, to uplift our self-esteem, and to empower ourselves for our relentless fight for social justice. Unfortunately, with our busy lives, it feels like there is never enough time to read a book. Fortunately, there's a solution. With Blacklist Ed, their app provides key insights from best-selling books about the Black experience, therefore saving you time, increasing your knowledge, and empowering yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. You can read or listen on the go. Start your free trial today by going to blacklisted.com. That's Black without the C, B-L-A-K. Or you can download the Blacklist Ed app from the App Store or Google Play. Blacklist Ed, empower yourself. Have you tasted the world-famous No Frowny Brownie yet from the Pink Bakery? If not, what are you waiting for? They are gluten-free, free of the big 8 allergens. While eating their No Frowny brownies, the fabulous Miss Tabitha Brown said they were very good. Very good. And you know, if she says that, they are. The Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned, Big 8 allergen-free baking mix company. Go to thepinkbakery.com, that's thepinkbakery.com, to order their No Frowny Brownie Mix today. Yaya Rule is a line of African-inspired apparel catered to the black community. The pieces include t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, jackets, dresses, skirts, activewear, bags, and other accessories and home decor. This brand offers a revived way for men and women to wear their black pride and honor their African heritage anywhere at any time. This apparel line is for anyone, whether you are working in the corporate world, are an entrepreneur, or an artist. Their selection will